Now, thread I'm going to be using is a uni thread, in this case in dark brown. Just going to run the wax through it to get it started. Gives you a lot more grip, and if you hear it running through my fingers, you can actually hear the grip of the thread. And then I'm going to take the thread down, remove the waste, just come slightly around the bend a wee bit. Then we tie in some cinnamon dyed roe deer stuff here. This is stuff I dyed myself. Now, tie it in stages. Just make sure you open the fibres out and remove any underfur before you go to tie it in. And then all I do is start at the back here, do a turn or two to get it started. Just holding the ends, keep them on top, and then allow the cut ends to flare. And then rewind straight turns through these cut ends, nice and tight. Draw this back, do 2 or 3 more, just to secure it. And that'll hold it. And then we just basically repeat this all the way up. Now I'm just going to make sure there's wax on the thread. And then we continue up. Don't overdo it with the deer here, don't put too much on. Again, just open out the fibres, remove the underfur. Now if you want this colour, what I would normally do is turn it around instead of the tips. It's much hollower, it's better for floating the fly. So we come in here, come around with 2 turns, just loose turns, and slowly tighten up. Then allow the deer here to rotate and wind through. In this case, it's the tapered ends this time. And then 2 or 3 turns in front. We sort of pack it a wee bit tighter with your nails, just push it in. Then we go back for some more. Now we don't need as much. Again, just open the fibres out, remove the fluff. We want the cut end tips just to be part of the body, so we tie this in. A couple of turns to basically hold, and then allow it to rotate around the shank, and then tighten up through the tapered ends. At this point, I'd rather be close to the head than not close enough, so what I'm going to do here is just come in and whip finish, just 2 or 3 turns, so that I can trim the deer here. First thing I like to do is just bring it out, because if you twist it around the shank, it will just like screw up, is what you call it. Just looking at it, that's fine. And then usually I start underneath. Nice straight cut towards the back of the hook. Just see where everything is. Get a nice clean cut if you can. Make sure your scissors are sharp. That's fine, it's okay. And then we want to taper up from the front. So we come in here, get it basically level. Again, nice straight cut on the side, on my side. Recheck, see what it looks like. I'm going to tighten up a bit more, so if you can rotate your vise, it makes a big difference. In this case, I mean, most times I'm quite happy just to take it off. Now for the back of the fly, we basically come in for the wing, cut at an angle, just come straight down. Do a wee quick check, get some tapered ends in there. We can sort the length out. Once we're finished the fly, we get a better idea. Now I may take it off to do the underside here. All I'm doing is just basically tidying up, just a slight angle from underneath. Now the deer here is it's going to keep the fly up. So if you're going to make a fly float, then you have to put your floating on this part of the fly, though the dehair will keep it up. It's very hollow fibre. So all we have to do now is just tidy up, get the shape that you want and the length. Once we're happy with our body and basically our wing, we tie in the horns of the fly. So we put the thread back on. So the first thing I do is make sure there's wax on it, and then we start at the eye. It's basically as normal. We take the thread up just to tidy this area to the point, as I say, I'd rather be close to the eye than not close enough, so yeah, that's a bit tidier. Now I've got just an old cape here, an old Indian neck, and I'm using the lot bigger feathers, and all I've done is removed, just take one off so you can see what I'm doing, just remove the fibres from either side. This will give you the horns. Remove them like that, and that's you, quite simple. And obviously you need two. Best to work with the same length of hackle so you get the taper right, the taper of the fibre. Now the length is up to yourself. I've put these on quite long, so don't make them too short. You can always trim them back. Now what I'm going to do is take a thread to about the head length away from the eye, and then just tie them on 2 or 3 turns just to secure, get them sitting right where you want. And lift them up, just a wee quick look, see where they're sitting. If you're happy, then you can continue up nice and tight. You can remove these. You can trim these once they're finished. Now I'm going to use, as I say, a hen hackle. I'm using a furnace hen, and the reason I like to use the hen is that it's much softer. I want it long so it lays back, not too stiff. I don't want it to break the surface too much, and then you've got there's not much movement in the deer hair, it's just a shape really. So the hen fibres basically give you a nice bit of movement, and just want a longer fibre. Nice bit of movement, you'd be surprised how well it looks and how well it fishes. That's fine. So I'm going to tie it in like I would do a cock hackle, to be honest with you, but with the front of the face of the hackle towards myself and towards the back. Then I'm going to come in, make sure you've got wax on your thread. Take it down, just make sure it's tied in. Stems are in the way, but don't worry about it, just take your time when you're doing this. Get your hackle pliers, and then just wind. As I say, I want these to be quite long, and then just draw it back like you would do a wet fly, and wind down towards the eye of the hook. And as you get to the feelers, or the horns, sorry, just lift them up out of the way. Come in with 2 or 3 turns, front, securing in the hackle. Now what I'm going to do is just fold it back, but I'm going to tie off at the same time. So what I'm going to do is 2, 3, finish, tighten up, trim this away, the thread, lift your horns forward, and then we can prick off or cut away the tip. Just take your time, you don't want to obviously cut away fibres. I'm just making sure I've got the tip of the hackle, trim that away, and there we are. Now what I'm going to do is trim these with the same length to there. Now I'm going to use a hairdryer just to show you. Now I'll just leave it like that and then go and fish it. it'll naturally lay back once you start to fish, but to give you a better idea what it's going to look like after being fished, I'm going to use the hairdryer just to push it back. So I'm just rolling my fingers through and then just encouraging it to sit back. Now with the hen hackle, what will happen, I'll not break the surface film, I'll sit on the top, so these fibres will come round and onto the base of the sides of the deer hair and the top, and it'll not be stiff, and you get much more of a movement in the fly, so you do. I mean, it's minute, but it's enough in my view. You can go, I mean, really small, even smaller, if you want, so 18s and so. But this is a basic size, this is a good size, it's the size I've got most on. Then all you have to do is a tiny bit of varnish in there, just to finish it off. So, I'll get my brush, don't be shy, just tap it with the brush, so that it soaks into the thread. Just clean it up. It's very light varnish I use, it's really thin. The stems of the hackles last far longer than basically fibres, hackle fibres or so. But there we are, that's the wee cinnamon sedge. And then hackle, as I say, you just pull it, they'll move extremely well. It gives the impression of the wing moving with the hen, but it's very soft, a lot of movement in the fly, so that's what you're looking for. So hope you enjoyed that.